Hi, Teri here from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is this very shiny card. I've used the Art Gallery stamp set and coordinating floral gallery dies. I've also used some of the Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper. The gold on the flower was created using Gilding Flakes, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, take a screenshot so you can refer to it later. This is the Art Gallery stamp set, and today I'm using these two floral images, the stem and the happy birthday sentiment. I'll be stamping on some normal weight Whisper White card, and I'm starting with Merry Merlot ink. I need to stamp one of the flower heads, and then the stem is going to be stamped using Mossy Meadow. And then I'm going to switch back to Merry Merlot for the sentiment. I'll be using a powdered glue to attach my gilding flakes, and to hold this glue into position until it's melted, I'll be using Versamark ink. The powdered glue I'm using is our heat and stick powder. Now this is a product that has just returned. We had it some years back, so you might already have some. If you do, it's perfectly usable still. Mine's several years old. I'm using the more detailed flower head stamp to stamp my Versamark ink. And I'm going to stamp this over the top of my first image. And then I'll cover with the heat and stick powder. The gilding flakes I'm using are not by Stampin' Up. Stampin' Up have just started selling them in gold, but as you can see I already have lots, so I didn't purchase any more. I'm using this brush to pick up and apply my gilding flakes. So I find this is the best and easiest way of doing it. You can use your fingers, but it gets very messy. Now these flakes will get everywhere, so before you start, protect your work surface, cover anything that's around. For instance, close your ink pads, close your stamping scrub if you've got one, move your stamps out the way because you'll find that the flakes cling to the stamps as well as anything else that they can reach. The first thing I have to do is melt the heat and stick powder. So before I start doing that, I'm going to move the flakes right out of the way. Now the powder melts really quickly. I've left this at real time so you can see, and you know it's done when the powder goes clear. Now you don't want to overheat it, but you want to make sure it's all melted. And then I'll dip my brush in the flakes and I'm tapping them onto the heat and stick powder. And once I think I've covered everything, that's when I use a swirling motion to remove any excess. If you find that you miss a bit, perhaps the glue dried in an area too quickly for the gilding flakes to attach, then you can reheat it and go again, but you don't want to repeat that process too many times because it just won't work. The glue tends to sink into the cardstock. So I've shown you one method of applying these flakes. I'm now going to show you another one, just so you've got an alternative method. Now you can use glue to attach the flakes. I like to use the fine tip glue pen because it dries so quickly. If you're using Tombow, you want to leave it a little longer to dry before applying your flakes. Otherwise you're just going to smear the glue all around your image. So I'm applying the glue where I want the flakes to stick. And it's just a guess how long to leave it before you apply the flakes. So it's going to be trial and error to a degree. I left this one for about 30 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds. And it was a little too long really. Some of the glue had dried completely by the time I added the flakes. But it just depends how thick you lay the glue down. You just need to sort of experiment a bit. Even if you don't get the timings quite right, you will get some lovely results. Now, as I said, I left this one just a few seconds too long. So the flakes didn't attach as I hoped they would, but the result was still very nice. And here you can see that lovely gold highlight on the flower, but it's a lot more subtle than my first one. I'm using the coordinating floral gallery dies to cut out all of these images and the sentiment. So we've got outline dies for the flower and the stem with the leaves, and then there's a label die for the sentiment. Now this is much longer than I need, so I'm going to place it so the right hand side is as I want it, and then I'm going to just cut off the left hand side later on. And I'm using my guillotine to do that, so I get a lovely straight edge. I have some gold glimmer paper here, although it's cardstock really, and I didn't realise when I created this video that this product is now actually retired. So if you haven't got any in your stash, you could use our gold foil sheets. They would look just as lovely. Now on the back I've added some of our double-sided adhesive sheets. Again, this product is the retired version, although we do have another version that is currently available. And I'm going to use another die from the same set to die cut my words. Now when the words are die cut, it doesn't die cut them all in one piece. All the words come out separately. The version of the double-sided adhesive sheets that I'm using has like a plastic backing on it, which makes it really hard for a die cutting machine to cut through it, but it's not a problem. I've already cut mine ready, and as you can see it hasn't cut all the way through to the back. But all you need to do is carefully ease out the words as much as you can, and you'll find that the glimmer paper piece will lift off the backing, and that will give you your sticker. So you can ease it off and apply it to your project. I like to use the double-sided adhesive sheets for any intricate die cuts because it's much easier to place them when the glue is already on the reverse. For my original card, I forgot to add the backing, so I just die cut the glimmer paper with the normal plain back, so I had to attach it using wet adhesive. This made moving the words very tricky. Really, once you've placed them with wet glue, that's where they've got to stay. You can wiggle them a little bit, but you don't want to move them too much. And on my original card, I didn't quite get the spacing right, so I just had to stay with it in the end. But with the double-sided adhesive sheet, it's very forgiving. If you place it in the wrong place, as long as you haven't sort of really pressed it down, you can just ease it up and reposition it. My card base is in Mossy Meadow, and this is half a standard sheet of card, scored in the middle and folded to create a portrait card. Then I have a Whisper White mat for the inside, and I'm just going to decorate this with a strip of the designer series paper. For the front of the card, I've got a full mat of the fine art floral designer series paper. And then I've got my flower elements, and I've added dimensionals to the sentiment and the flower head. And then I've got my glimmer paper stickers. And that's my card complete. Quite quick and very simple to create. And here's another look at my original card. The colour I used for the flower head and the sentiment on this card was terracotta tile. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.